David Quinn coming up. We have Aaron Boone coming up, obviously. We have Yankee tickets to give away. All that coming up. We'll get to the NFL. We'll get to some NBA. We'll get to all that. Let me finish up with a couple of baseball calls or a couple of calls. Bob in Monticello. What's up, Bob?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
What's up?
Just want to say your Twitter account already is aces, so it's great.
Well, thanks. I haven't really done much, but thanks. But what's up? What's up?
So my question is this. I'm enjoying the Yankee season, but It feels kind of hollow when I look forward. It seems like we basically got one pitcher, and the Astros have 5. And Lance McCullers would be our number 2.
That can change. That might be overdoing it, but I mean that. Listen, that it looks overwhelming right now, but that can change. I mean, it can change a lot of different ways. When you're going to look at it right now, their starting pitching does look tremendous. Of course, you go from Verlander, Morton's having the season he's having. You know, the Yankees were interested in Cole. Cole goes there, and he's done well. You have McCullers as their 5. You have, obviously, a Yankee killer who has not been great this year. That will get better as the season's going on. But they do have an overwhelming – but they have no bullpen. That's their bullpen is to use their starters. I mean, the Yankees have devoured their bullpen, and I don't think their bullpen holds up at all against good team, and it has not held up against the Yankees at all. So from that standpoint, that's something where their pitchers got to go deep in the games, but they do have better starting pitcher. John in Brooklyn, what's up, John?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's happening?
A little disappointed with CeCe over the past 3 games.
Well, listen, the Boston game. Remember, I mean, the Cleveland game, he left with a 5-0 lead. It was 3 starts. There's 2 starts back. Well, 3 if you count yesterday's. And what are you going to do? I mean, that happens. And he was unhappy that he got taken out of that game. The last couple of games haven't been good.
But let's be honest, Mike. We talk about the Yankees and they're loaded down in the farm system. They're not loaded with the pitching, though. If one of these guys goes down, who are you going to bring up? I mean. Adams has been a big disappointment.
No, they don't.
Now.
Listen, they have some hard throwing guys, but they don't have a lot of pitching that's ready. But they do have an incredible amount of power and position prospects that they can deal. And they do have the ability to get the guy in and still not have to pay the tax. So from that standpoint, it allows them to play 2 chips or 1 big chip, and I think that's really what you have to wait if you're Cash, is to play the game to see if a guy, so somebody really special, does a Bumgarner become available? Do you get a shot at a guy like that? I mean, that's that, and I'm not going to bring up Kershaw because he's got, 2 years sitting there at $35 million a year. I can't see him walking away from that. So, I'm not going to bring him into this at all, but there's a lot of pitchers out there that, you'll see if teams, where they are rather than doing it right now where there's not a lot of pitchers yet available.
Well, let's be honest, Mike, if you're a premium pitcher, it's going to be hard for that team, whether they're in the playoffs or not, to give up on him.
Well, depending on whether you're rebuilding or not. Listen, the Yankees can give you 3 starters. They can give you 3 players who could become, if they start giving you guys like Frazier and Austin and,
Florio. You have to give up Florio to get a top premium one.
Or, listen, people are going to start. I don't even know if people will even insult the Yankees anymore and start with Torres. I think they realize that Torres is completely untouchable. I mean, 100% untouchable. So I think they realize that. I mean, if they didn't, it would be comical because we all know he is. Mike and Ronkonkoma, what's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good.
I just want to touch on Gleyber Torres because you mentioned about moving him in the lineup and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, he's a young kid. He's doing perfectly well where he is. I mean, if it's not broke, why would you fix it, right?
Because he's that good. Because he's just that good. I mean, and you honor that when it's real, and it's real. I mean, we all know it's real, and I'm not saying he's not going to have a slump, but it's something they don't have to do. And you're right, they don't have to do it, but we know sooner or later how you put a lineup together, and when you look at it and you realize that your 9-hitter is your second best hitter, or your best hitter. I mean, you take that into account. And if that is if you're 300 bats into the season and he's hitting 335, you say, okay, I give up. Let's see if he can do it under the glow of doing it, at the top of the lineup. So eventually it's there. And now if something I'm sure he's not even concerned about, but he knows that that's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen. It's just a question of when. That's all. And I understand what you're saying. Hey, why fool with it? Leave him alone. Fair point. But because sooner or later, you put your best hitter where you put him. And, if he continues to play like that, that's what you do. Ari in West Orange. What's up, Ari?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Yeah, what's happening?
First time, long time, and I mean long time. I've been with you, Mike, ever since day one. So,
thank you. Appreciate it.
I want to, it was weird, honestly, not having you on all those months, and it's nice to hear your voice back in the air. I'm glad you're back.
Thank you.
My Yankee point, and I've been having a discussion with friends of mine at work, and to me, the perfect trade partner with the Yankees for a starting pitcher, I do feel they need the starter, like we've all been saying. To me, the perfect trade partner is the Mets. So
I agree, but it's a very difficult obstacle to overcome.
I know it is, but do you think it's just impossible? I
think it's. I tell you what. Give me another week, and I'll give you the answer. But I really think it's close to impossible. I mean, I haven't seen a couple of the particulars since spring training. When I see them again, which I will at the ballpark in the next couple of weeks, I get an idea if there's even any softening there. I would say the last time I've been around those groups, I would say that something between those two would be very difficult.
Right.
There's no love lost. There really isn't.
My follow-up would be, of course, Jacob deGrom. I mean, let's just hypothetical. The Mets said, yes, let's talk Jacob deGrom. What do you think it would take to get him on the Yankees?
Three guys that could really help the Mets. I think the Yankees don't really have and I'm not going to say I got to bring a pitcher back because I have to put a pitcher back in the organization. I'm going to take the best players I can get my hands on.
Right.
And I'm going to take guys like Frazier, and I'm going to take guys, I'm going to think about it to see how it fits my team. I might not take Andujar because of the fact that I just signed Frazier, so I might not take him.
Is Torres off the table?
He's not only off the table. I'd hang up the phone.
Really? Wow.
I would not trade him.
That good.
There's
not
no.
Even for deGrom.
I wouldn't trade him for anybody.
Wow. Okay.
He's not tradable. Mm-hmm. He's not tradable. They're going to start there, but I would not trade him. I would not trade him. He's untouchable right now. I don't know where the bottom is here. You might be looking at one of the best players in the sport. You can't do that. He might be this good. So I think that one, he's off the charts. And they have another five other players, but I still think it's a long shot to believe that there would be a softening to the point where they could make a deal because there's no love lost. Andrew in Manhattan, what's up, Andrew?
Hey, how's it going today? I'm 34 years old. I want to rant about the Mets. As you would say, this team stinks. They always talk about the window, the future. 86, 88 done. 98, 2000 done. 26 done. 2015 done. My wife is pregnant. I wouldn't subject my newborn child to this in any case. And you know what's the constant, Mike, through all of this? The ownership. What do you think about that?
You're not wrong. But, listen, they are short-sighted. I don't like some of the things they do. They've also been extremely unlucky. But, they haven't been overly terrible of late. I mean, there are franchises that have been horrific. They haven't been horrific. I mean, they've been in the World Series recently. They've been in the playoff back-to-back years. It's not like they haven't had their moments. It's just that you're comparing them all the time to the Yankees. That's number one. And number two, you had higher expectations, and rightly so, for this group of pitchers, and it has not worked out the way. And I think the one thing the Mets have, I believe, learned here, and is that when you see these young teams being built, they're being built around young athletic position players. They are not being built around pitchers who get so damaged and get hurt so much on such a regular basis that you can't count on them. You got to sprinkle your pitches in. You need them. You absolutely have to have them. You got to go get the good ones. You have to do whatever you have to do to get a couple of the good ones. But you build your team around the young athletic players. That's how it works. Back after this.